So we have this tier 16 waypoint on a irradiated map boss and only about 1500 health. Now I am not resistance capped, I am not evasion capped, I am not deflection capped, but all I have to do is hold down one button. All I have to do is hold down my right click and we're good. Sometimes I'm gonna left click, but this is by far the most broken build that I have seen. I've seen a lot of different people with a lot of different builds, but a lot of them they just don't flow through the map like this. Now, I've been watching a lot of Bajira on his Titan, and yeah, that looks amazing. That looks like a lot of fun. You can just go through and ground pound and slap everything, but it's not constant movement. This is just constant movement. I'm going to be running through the map doing this, killing just about everything before I even see it. As you can see, most of the stuff on the map just dies before we even get there. Like, absolutely insane. Mana problems are nothing. 1500 health, not resistance capped. None of that is a problem on this. You literally just hold down your right click or left click, whatever your lightning arrow is, and you're just smashing through everything. Now, I'm sure this is going to get nerfed. I'm sure this is going to get nerfed. You can let me know what you think, but even completely surrounded, like, I'm just chilling. I mean, I haven't seen a more broken build. Now, it should be noted that none of my gear is crafted. This is all just stuff that I found on the market, that I found on the auction house. See, like this big guy right here. Might have to use left click. Yeah, like there's nothing compares. Nothing that I've seen compares to this. I've even seen DM with his I believe he's running what, the blood source. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch, but it just doesn't clear this fast. You don't have the movement speed. I mean, with the Roa's mount, I'm just absolutely soaring. This is a T16, not resistance cap, just going for it. Oh look, we have a boss. So we're gonna set up our prep here. Now it's definitely easier when they stand still and when I don't get knocked off my mount. Give me my bird back. But like, I don't feel like a T16 should be this easy. Now the bosses that just stand still at the start, they literally just fall over. I don't understand. When I actually start crafting, when I actually get into crafting and all of that, I'm sure we're just gonna be smashing even harder. But let's take a look at my actual gear here. So none of this is crafted. This is all purchased. We have the Gemini bow. We have some nice attack speed, and that's really what we're going for. We're going for a lot of attack speed here. So 24% on the bow, 16% on the gloves. We have a chest here. You can see the cap, the quiver, the boots. 35% movement speed is just incredible. The belt, and then we have the amethyst ring over here, which is really good for that lightning damage. And then a big breach ring over here and the amber amulet. We're using the thawing charm. Now I originally got the thawing charm for the Arbiter of Ash because when he freezes you it's kind of just GG's. So if you have this he can't freeze you. We have the fire resistance and the amethyst charm right here. But I have never had this much fun in an ARPG. I've actually not even played that many ARPGs. I played Diablo 2 way back in the day. I tried to pick up Diablo 4 and just wasn't having it, but I never tried PoE 1, which I guess kind of makes me a tourist in this game. But I do want to say that since 0.3 has launched, I have put 200 hours into it. So I'm feeling a bit less touristy than when I first started. Now I'm no crafting genius. I'm a crafting noob. So when I dive into crafting, it's gonna be fun. But I've never seen any class other than this actually go this hard. Let me know what you think down in the comments, because even walking into this chaos area, I mean, it's just extremely chill. Let's see, let's start this sarcophagus and get these guys spawning with the chaos area. And we can literally just run around in a circle, take care of these guys over here, go back to this. It feels broken. It feels highly nerfable. I mean, I can't even, if tier 16 is like the hardest they got, and this is a rare tier 16, 1500 health, no caps on resistance or evasion. Like, what is it going to be when we actually get things like evasion cap, resistance cap, when our damage is actually, I mean, right now our lightning arrow's at 30.7k. Like, what is actually going to happen when we start crafting all of that quote-unquote perfect gear for the build? I mean, this guy is just going to drop. Like, what's going to happen when we do that? And what other build is going to be able to compete with this? Because I just don't see anything competing with this. I just don't. It seems completely broken. So this is the passive tree. A lot of people follow guides for their passive trees. I'm sure if you've seen a Deadeye tree before, you'll very well know that I did not follow any specific tree. Now there's a few things that this really goes off of. We went all the way to Blinding Strike for that 24% increased attack damage and the 10% chance to blind. We went over here for the 20% increased damage basically when they're shocked. This is mainly single target for bosses, as any of those smaller units we're pretty much just one-shotting. We have the movement speed with the 30% increased evasion, which is very important. And then we go down to the, again, 25% increased attack damage and 25% chance to maim. We went over here to the Wildcat, which gives us that deflection rating and 40% increased evasion while moving. Now, we are always moving. As you saw on that map, we're always just running forward in a straight line. We're really never stopping. So we're gaining deflection equal to 10% of evasion and a 40% increased evasion while moving. We went a little bit into the bow, and this is mainly to get that feathered fletching. So this increases your damage with bows based on your projectile speed, which is very nice. Now going all the way up this, it has the attack speed with bows, and then of course just the flat damage. Next we went down here to grab Bestial Skin, which is 100% increased evasion rating from equipped body armor, right? So you have 2,000 on your chest. Oh, now it's giving you 4,000. And then with the next level, we're actually going to enhanced reflexes to give us more deflection, and again, another just 20% flat evasion boost. Now, when it comes to the gems, we took a gem slot here, which we have the Oblivion Cut Emerald, which does great things for our crit damage and our overall lightning damage. You'll also notice the projectile damage and a little bit of increased mana recovery. We did actually go down here to put in another emerald for that, again, 12% increased damage with bows, 12% elemental, and projectiles have a 4% chance to chain an additional time from the terrain. Right, so let's take this tree down here, but not forgetting this. We did go up to the physical attack damage on these just to get that 24% increased. We did not go up to splinters though. Same on this side. We took the 12 and 12 for a 24% elemental damage increase, but we did not take the primal sundering. We then went down this path right here, gaining that increased elemental damage. Just these right here give you a 44%. Going down, we took Exploit, which means that 25% increased damage with hits against enemies affected with ailments. Now, when paired with this right here, if we have Shock on a boss, that boss is taking 45% increased damage, which is just insane. So we went all the way down just to grab the 20% increased projectile damage, and then 10 and 10, right? So there's 40% on an increase of projectile right here. We went through this little circle to grab the elemental damage all the way around it, and then went down to grab the lightning. So this is just a flat 12 to lightning, flat 12 to lightning, 10 to lightning, 10 to lightning. This tree right here just buffs our lightning rod and lightning arrow like crazy. Again, we went to the other jewel slot, but then we started making our way down. Now, eventually, we're going to be going to catapult as well. So my end is reaching catapult over here, and then reaching these evasion nodes right here. That should cap me out at level 100. But again, all of our projectile speed is also going into damage because of feathered fletching. So 10% increased projectile damage, 10% projectile damage, and then we start getting speed, which is great for speed, but it's also going to transfer 1-to-1 over to damage. So going further down here, we have attack damage and skill duration, and then prolonged assault, which just gives us another 16% flat increased attack damage. And then finally going down here, we have 10 to projectile, 10 to projectile, 10 to projectile, and then careful aim, which gives us 15% to accuracy and another 20% to projectile damage. So just between these right here, we have 20, 30, 40, 50% increased projectile damage just in this node right here. So all of the trees are going to differ. All of the trees are definitely going to differ, but this is what I am currently using for my just hold right click and run forward Deadeye build. Now, trying to optimize our skills, you can see mainly we're just using lightning arrow, which is my right click, lightning rod, which is my left click, and then we have our passives. We have Herald of Thunder, of course, the Roa mount, and the Wind Dancer passive. So Voltaic Mark for bosses, Barrage for bosses, even though we don't really ever need to use it. It should be noted that one of the biggest things in Lightning Arrow that I found was this Rakiata's Flow. About 2,600 exalts on the currency exchange, but if you're farming out those deadly bosses that are on the Jade Isles, you have a really good chance to drop that. Now on top of that, we also got Brutus's Brain for our Roa mount, so farming those Jade Isles are incredibly helpful. All in all, I really do think this is the most broken build, at least the most broken build that I've seen, and all 200 hours that I've spent in 0.3, I've pretty much spent also watching different streamers and their builds and build guides. I've just seen nothing where you can just walk in a straight line continuously holding one button and kill everything. It's absolutely incredible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next one.